For most schools, schools like mine, we can't simply get rid of our existing assessment and crediting and transcripting system and crumple it up and set it aside. But for some schools, you can. They're brand new schools, they're startup schools, they're very progressive schools. They might have the option of deciding to swap the mastery assessment system out. But we think most schools are going to do it the way my school might, which is to offer families as they enter high school 2 ways to be assessed in high school. If they choose, they can still be assessed the traditional way. They can sit in content-based courses and get letter grades, and that's what will show up on their transcript. But they can also sit in those same courses, even content-based courses, and be assessed a different way, which is through the mastery system. So rather than get a grade at the end of the course, they would be earning evidence that they could use to submit for mastery credits, microcredits. So how would this work for a teacher? So imagine that you're a high school English 11 teacher, and you have 16 kids in your class. 10 of them want to be assessed the traditional way, so you issue the papers and the group work that you would normally do, and at the end you give them written feedback and you put a letter grade on it. For the 6 kids who are in the mastery system, you give them the same feedback, only instead of a letter grade, the instructor would indicate which of the credits this might show evidence of, so the child can put it in their evidence database and retrieve it later and know what folder to put it in, so that later they might submit it for evidence credit. So you could have kids in the same classes doing the exact same work being assessed with 2 different systems that will aggregate to 2 different kinds of credits on 2 different kinds of transcripts without changing your curriculum up front, without changing your assessment model. Now, obviously, if you went wholesale to a mastery system or you had the majority of your students in a mastery system, that will start to change instruction, that will start to change assessment, but it's not an upfront requirement, which we think will make it accessible to teachers, accessible to parents, accessible to students. Most parents and students shouldn't feel threatened by this new system because the old system they signed on for is still available to them. It will only be those families who see the value of this who will sign on for this assessment model. So we think this will make it doable for existing schools, even pretty traditional schools, to add this as an option for them.